What are you drinking tonight, bud? Tell the good people what you're having.
I don't want to tell anyone. They're gonna make fun of me. It's Truly, and it's
Oh, not
blueberry.
as much
It's
as they're gonna make
blueberry
fun of
Truly.
me.
What do you got?
Blueberry Truly. Oh, I've become the ultimate UFC shill, and I've been drinking Modelo for the last 2 weeks. And I know it's a total meme because they make all those shitty ads. Well, they're not shitty. I shouldn't call them shitty. They make all those
They're memeable as hell.
borderline cringy
Yeah.
ads about UFC fighters, and it's always brought to you by Modelo and all that shit. But
And
I
that same
genuinely
voice
like it.
actor over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Brian Ortega was given a choice. Um,
Stipe Miocic was given a choice.
but I genuinely like it. It's a nice light beer. It's cheap as fuck, which is nice. Um, it's basically, I think, just a better version of Miller Lite. That's
A more high
pretty much it.
quality.
It's
The
a
upper
slightly
class.
higher quality version of Miller Lite. That's about it.
It's Miller Lite for the Cloud District.
I did. Good Skyrim reference, bro. I'm sure everyone will get that. But,
Oh, of course. MMA fans are huge Skyrim fans. That's just a known
yeah, there's a lot of
statistic.
crossover there.
Yeah.
But
It's the lore, you know?
yeah, Modelo, I've become a big fan. So sponsor me, please. Imagine if fucking Modelo sponsored this podcast.
Hey, man, we'll drink all your stuff. We'll shout you out as many times as you like.
Dude,
We'll just talk about Modelo the whole time.
I would become the biggest shill for
100%, yeah.
if they paid me like $5 a podcast, I'd be like, yes, absolutely.
100%.
I'll do it. I'm down. Because, they sponsor the UFC. I like the beer. We're an MMA podcast. It just
It's
all
a
works
perfect
together.
match, yeah.
It all works together, much like the way everything kind of was fitting and poetic tonight for Anderson Silva's last.
Final.
Well, you know what? I say that, but he literally said in the post-fight interview when Bisping was like, "Is this it for you?" He went, "I don't know."
Of course he did. Why not stick around, you know?
Here's the thing. It seems to be that he is done with the UFC, but he's not necessarily done with MMA. Now, granted, he has one fight left on his contract. I don't know how that's going to play out. They might just let him go. I don't know. He might come back for another one. I don't know. But I tend to think he is not done with MMA. I think he will be. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a phone call with Scott Coker tomorrow talking about his future over at Bellator for more old guy fights.
Hey, nothing wrong with some old guy fights. You can't fight time. I would love to see him stick around, though. As much as he probably shouldn't, he's still such an entertaining dude. I mean, just look at him. It's Anderson Silva. Look at the way he still fights. He doesn't have that like head movement and that crisp striking that he maybe used to have, but he's still flashy as hell. I mean, you just watching him fight someone like Uriah Hall tonight, I don't want to see him go, man. I know he kind of got murdered, but at the same time,
he was more competitive tonight than he has been.
Yeah, exactly. He looked like he was on an
lately.
uptrend compared to his last couple fights.
Yeah,
and I know
but
that's
at the
a
end of the
difference in
day,
competition,
he still got stopped.
Yeah, pretty brutally. Almost that first time in the third round at the end. Oh, that was close,
dude. If that fight had gone that round had gone another 10 seconds, that was it. He was done.
I mean, you saw the way he was grabbing Herb Dean's leg, like he just held on to it.
He was doing so weird. The old single leg on the ref.
Yeah, a classic technique.
But yeah, Jesus, I'm like losing. This was a bad idea. I'm like losing my train of thought already.
It's okay. That's the fun of it.
Goddamn Modelos. It's
all
their fault.
Pull it out of your ass, all right? You can do it. You can do it.
I thought Intoxicated Combat was going to be a fun, laughy, good time, and then Anderson Silva fucking makes me want to cry, and now suddenly I'm not in such a great mood.
That was so sad at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah,
my God,
it was.
It looked like I was telling you earlier. It looked like a movie. It was literally the finale of a movie.
Just a week ago, we had to go through this same thing with Habib.
Exactly.
Another retirement that is seemingly temporary, but still sad nonetheless. And the thing that really stuck out to me, I want to say this before I fucking forget.
Get it in
The thing
now.
that really stuck out to me about the way Uriah Hall finished this fight, it was strikingly or shockingly similar to the way Anderson finished Forrest Griffith. Look back at that. Is
Yeah.
it Forrest Griffith or Griffin?
Griffin, my dear boy. Yes.
Oh,
Griffith.
That piece of shit. I hate that guy.
You don't like his commercials with
No,
Toyo tires.
I wasn't talking about Forrest. I was talking about your boy. I don't like him.
My boy.
Yeah, you said you like my boy Griffin. I thought you were referring
I
to
did?
the guy, or maybe you meant Forrest. This is a fucking
Wait.
train wreck.
What? I never said that.
You said something like roll back the tape, rewind.
I don't think I ever. I forgot that man existed.
You said something about your boy, and I assumed you were referring to a person we went to high school with, who I fucking despise.
I think I was talking about Forrest Griffin then.
Never mind then.
Because he's always in the Toyo commercials.
No, I like Forrest Griffin. Forrest Griffin's awesome.
Anyway,
the way Uriah put Anderson down was very much the way Anderson put Forrest Griffin down. Anderson was rushing in, chin sky high, throwing big strikes that were missing the mark. Uriah just takes a few steps back, leans back a little bit, let those punches graze off his chest, and then just puts him out with one right hand. I mean, it was pretty spectacular.
I didn't think about it like that. Excuse me.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, the truly is really, it's spiking me right now. But I didn't think about it like that. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's like giving me heartburn.
Oh yeah, that shit will give you heart because it's like a.
It's spiking my acid levels right up there.
Is it like a seltzer?
Yeah, it's a hard seltzer. It's only 5% alcohol, but if you start really chugging these things, they don't taste very alcoholic. So it's kind of like a lull you into a false sense of security. It's like fighting Yoel Romero. That's what drinking truly is like. But yeah, I didn't think about it like that because that's one of my favorite knockouts of all time. It was just Forrest Griffin knocking out, or
Anderson knocking out.
Anderson Silva knocking out Forrest Griffin, and you think of that like a defining moment in someone's career. In that case, both of them. I mean, Forrest Griffin, you kind of want to. You're just not at that top level yet, Griffin. You might want to think about moving on and retiring or whatnot. And Anderson Silva, that looks so good for you. I mean, you're climbing up there. You're becoming the top of your league. And it's kind of similar to what we just saw, like you were saying. I mean, maybe it's time for Anderson to leave, and now Uriah Hall. I mean, that's a big bump in your stock right there. That's something to behold. I mean, you Anderson to Anderson. I didn't think about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I had nothing to bring up about it. I was gonna say it's a chess match. It was really fun to watch, and that's about it. But yeah, good
I did not think it was fun to watch at first. I thought the first 2 rounds were pretty boring, but then it turned up in the third big time. And then Uriah has this thing about him. He's very hesitant. That's been a criticism towards him for like literally his entire career, is that he just doesn't throw enough. The guy's got great striking potential, but he just doesn't seem to do it as much as he should. And which is, I think, largely the reason he's kind of underperformed his entire career. I mean, everyone thought this dude was the next Anderson Silva coming out of The Ultimate Fighter when he did that awesome spinning back kick and knocked that dude out. Has one of the most, iconic Ultimate Fighter knockouts, which is coming back, by the way. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, March 2021.
Hell yeah. But everyone thought Uriah was the next Anderson Silva, and then he just wasn't. And I think a large part of that is he just seems so freaking hesitant. Like he's always waiting for the other guy to go first. And that was true in this fight as well. He didn't turn up until Anderson started turning up in the third. And once Anderson started turning up, then it was a little more of a battle. And he was, he was doing a good job. And then obviously in the fourth, we saw what happened where Anderson was kind of rushing in and he puts his lights out. And it's this weird thing with him where he just doesn't, he's not as aggressive as he should be. And you could make the argument that this is because he has like admiration for Anderson, but this is something he's done a lot.
It's a
And
pattern. Yeah.
yeah, and he's afterwards he's saying he wants a title shot, and I don't think that's in the cards just yet. If he if he racks up a few more wins, absolutely, but there's a few more guys in line ahead of him at middleweight, just one of which being Robert Whittaker, who is, I mean,
oh man, that's gonna be fun.
How do you say Uriah Hall is more deserving of a title shot than Rob Whittaker? You can't. But nonetheless, a solid performance for Uriah, and definitely has this feeling of like a passing of the torch, even though Uriah is a little longer in the tooth and probably towards the later half of his career. But this is a guy that has emulated himself off Anderson. Obviously, Anderson was a big inspiration to him. You don't even have to have him say that to you. You just got to watch this guy fight. Especially earlier in his career, like the Ultimate Fighter days. I mean, it's very obvious that Anderson Silva was a huge inspiration to him. The same way it's very obvious when you look at Israel Adesanya. So it all felt very poetic tonight in the way it went down.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's fighting a younger, not a young guy, but a guy younger than him. Who he has emulated himself after, or the guy has emulated himself after him. And, you have Michael Bisping commentating and giving Anderson his probably final UFC interview. It all felt right.
Yeah,
even Anderson losing to some extent felt right, because now he's 1-7 in his last 8.
Oh, that feels so strange to hear out loud. Wow.
Yeah,
oh, man.
And you have to say, like, okay, that's
something
that.
needs to happen here.
That's that.
Yeah. But god damn, 1-7. That's just, you wouldn't think of someone like Anderson Silva living in the Anderson Silva era that would happen. It makes you think what's going to happen to some of the champions we see nowadays in the future, and if they're going to go on runs like that where they have complete and utter just loss streaks. Something we would never imagine being an MMA fan right now. Yeah. BJ Penn is the perfect example of a guy who just went on way too long and really paid for it. And that's the sport of MMA. It's a young man's game. Not always, but most of the time. So, wow.
Anderson
really
admitted in his post-fight interview that a lot of us don't know when to stop. I was like, okay, so you recognize it. That's
at least
good.
You're self-aware, my man. That's good. That's the first step to getting help.
That's why I liked seeing what happened with Khabib last week. I'm like, hell yeah, man, retire now. Go ahead, do it. Like I think that's
29 is an odd number. That's just bad taste.
We have to make it 30.
It's not about your family or what you want in the personal life. It's about even numbers. It needs to be divisible by 2. I mean, come on now. What's wrong with you? That's kind of what the MMA community, well, not all of them, half of the people I would say were saying. It's not right to retire at 29. You have to get that perfect 30. But obviously it's different with Anderson.
What did Floyd retire at?
What, like 49-0?
Was it 50?
I think maybe it was 50 after the Conor fight.
No, nothing. He fought again after the Conor fight. He fought that Japanese dude, and it looked like a total fucking flop. Like it was like the dude took a dive, and it's like, did he do that just to get 50-0? Let's see. Let's look at Floyd Mayweather's
He should fight Jake Paul next. He wants the money. That's where the money is at.
Jake
That's
Paul
one of the first things you see.
So much bigger than him.
Yeah. It's one of the first things you see when you type in Floyd Mayweather. It's Floyd Mayweather versus Jake Paul. Was this a thing that we just didn't know about?
Well, I mean, probably, but like, who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
49
it's like
victories.
Not important.
I guess he has 50 wins now. Yeah, 51-0 after knocking out that. What? I'm seeing a lot of conflicting information. This should not be that hard to find.
No, he's 50. Boxing record 50-0. Unless that was was that a kickboxing fight? Oh yeah, okay. His last professional boxing
50.
fight is Connor. It says here.
Oh wow, I guess that wasn't an actual fight. That was like an exhibition or whatever you want to call it. Wow.
That's so dumb.
You know what?
What was that dude's name? Not Nazakawa, something like
It
that.
looked so fishy. I remember going back
It
and
looked
looking at
bad.
that, and I was like, this just looks strange. Maybe it wasn't fixed, but if you were to say one fight was fixed, that's a fight you would say is possibly fixed. That's one to look into for sure. It looked more suspicious than your average fight, but I wouldn't say it was like a total fix altogether,
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
kind of unfair to say, because, I mean, you don't really know at the end of the day.
Mm.
Coincidences do happen.
It was in Japan though.
That's not real. Japan's not a real place. Come on, get out of here.
It's a fake country.
I do not accept that. So let's just say he's
What?
51-0. But Anderson obviously not so lucky. he didn't get that luxury to retire at that record. And
Yeah.
I hope Khabib does. I don't know if he should come back and fight GSP, which is what they were saying. I don't know if that's a good fight. I don't really
God,
see
that
the
fight
purpose.
sucks. That's such a
It's
dumb
fun,
fight.
but it's dumb. Yeah, it's GSP's retired. He's not washed out, but he's not training regularly. He's not like at his prime at all. It doesn't really prove anything. And God forbid Khabib loses to GSP at that level. It's just that kind of it doesn't ruin his legacy, but it takes a goddamn big hit on Khabib's legacy. You got to admit that.
It's I don't know,
It's
man.
just
It's
it's a
just
rough time. I don't like it.
it's just a dumb fight. They're so different in size and in like where they're at in their careers. I think what GSP said recently in regards to the GOAT discussion, Ariel Helwani did an interview with him and was like, "Do you think Khabib's the GOAT?" And he basically said, "I think everyone has their time to be the
Yeah,
GOAT."
yeah.
Like, and he didn't mention himself because he's GSP and he's very humble,
He's a good dude.
but he basically said, like, I think there was the Anderson era where Anderson was the GOAT. There was the John Jones era. Now it's Habib's time. Now I think you could say Habib is the GOAT right now. Does that remain forever? No, not necessarily, but that's something, John Jones is salty about, but whatever. Um, just
What is he
for
not salty about?
Yeah, he's salty about everything. But like, it makes perfect sense what GSP is saying because if you think about it, who has been more dominant in their recent competitions? Has it been John Jones or has it been Habib? It's 100% been Habib. John Jones is coming off a split decision win. Many people don't even think it was. He won the fight, myself
Right,
included. And Habib is out here dominating guys, like very convincingly in the best division in the sport right now. But there was a time when light heavyweight was the best division in the sport. And John Jones was dominating then. He was dominating the Alexander Gustafsons and the Daniel Cormiers. So it's comparing apples to oranges because you're looking at just two different time periods, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
it's kind of a dumb debate, but whatever. Um,
That's kind of
like
what MMA is about, though, the dumb debates. You got to admit.
True.
It's about
True.
matching sciences that don't match up at all and trying to make something out of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
Even the sport just in and of itself with
Yeah.
this mixture of styles that don't
Yeah.
really mesh, but it's finding a way to make them mesh to, be the greatest version of yourself and to impose your will on somebody else who is also trying to master all these diverse skill sets. It's very interesting.
There's something beautiful about it,
Yeah.
You got to admit that.
And typically the guys that we consider to be the GOATs are people that are able to master every skill set, but they have their disciplines, like GSP, I think, is the most well-rounded fighter of all time. Then you have John that is also there, but I think there's a slight edge in his striking. Like in as opposed to his wrestling, where like I think his wrestling is not as good as his striking, but that's probably just because we haven't seen as much of his wrestling as we have, say, GSP. And then Habib, very obviously his wrestling is the most dominant factor, but his striking is so often slept on. Like if you look at the numbers, he absorbs like 1.7 strikes per minute, which is extraordinarily low. Like
That's like
people,
record-breakingly low. Yeah.
people like people they don't acknowledge his striking as much, which I mean, of course, his wrestling is superior. You'll get no argument from me there. But I think they don't really acknowledge his striking so much because it's not like pretty to look at, and he doesn't have like these crazy KOs on his resume like someone like Anderson, let's say, the Vitor Belfort front kick to the face. Habib doesn't have anything like that in his catalog. But what he does have is he takes little to no damage. Guy's never been cut, never been knocked down, and he uses his jab so effectively to really get inside, and it's like they often say the jab is the key of the door. Well, behind the door for Habib is the takedown, so he uses his jab so effectively for what Habib is trying to do, although it's not the way most people would use it. Like not every jab he throws he's trying to hurt you. Well, he's definitely not trying to like knock you out or anything with his jab, and he's just using it to get inside. The same way Colby Covington is just kind of, using his jab to get inside and just put pressure and stop you from really advancing and um, mounting any sort of offense and just creating volume, 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 volume. So everyone uses their skill sets very differently. And but the guys who are the greatest of all time, the people we talk about in the GOAT debate when we talk about John or GSP or Anderson or DC or Habib or whoever else you want to throw in there, they tend to bring it all together in such a beautiful way, but they always have that one discipline that's just a notch above all their other disciplines, and they use it in such a unique way. And I think when we talk about Anderson, we're talking about a guy who I think was such a foundational, I don't even know if that's a word.
I think you're onto something. I like that word. I like that.
Foundational piece of highlight KOs.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to say Anderson invented the highlight KO, but I have to think he helped bring it into mainstream significance and into popularity and into, I mean, this was not a thing that, front kicks to the face like he did the Vitor. That's not a thing that always happened in MMA. You go back and you look at UFC 1, you look at Ken Shamrock and Royce Gracie, that wasn't the kind of shit they were trying to pull off. It was about control and about, it was basically a wrestling match that allowed punches. And then you have this guy in Anderson that is taking stuff out of like kung fu movies, out of Bruce Lee movies, and he's doing them in the real world and actually doing them effectively and using it to win and become dominant in a sport that is so elite and winning titles. I mean, that's extraordinary. It's like bringing fiction into reality. And I mean, when we look at Habib, it's a polar opposite style, but he found a way to make it just as dominant and just as effective to claim all those accolades that both guys have really claimed. Both guys have come across for themselves. I'm rambling.
I like it. I like it. You're speaking some good truths, though. I really do like it.
Am I?
No, dude. I like what you said about Anderson bringing knockouts like that into the mainstream. Because when I first got into MMA, the first stuff I was seeing was I even remember not liking. I shouldn't say not liking. I remember being biased against Anderson because I didn't like the fact that his nickname was the Spider. Because when I first saw his knockouts, when I was first getting into the UFC, they were constantly showing Anderson the Spider Silva's knockouts, and I was like, I hate spiders. I don't like this guy. But as I watch him, like,
what
I love this guy.
Reason.
No, dude, it's such a stupid reason. That I'm thinking about me 6 years ago or whenever I got into the sport. I think it was like 6 years ago. It's so funny to think about back then. That was something that gave me bias. Like, I don't like spiders, so I don't like the guy with the nickname Anderson the Spider Silva. But anyway, I do remember him being the main person that I saw knocking people out when I first got in here. I mean, John Jones was obviously starting his reign when I first got into everything, and that was all fine and dandy, but you didn't see John Jones doing what Anderson Silva did. You saw Anderson Silva doing what Anderson Silva did. That was some next level stuff that you just didn't see. So yeah, I do like that a lot. I really hate the discussions about who's the GOAT. I don't like the people that get really upset about who is the GOAT. You know, maybe you'll have some keyboard warrior saying Anderson is the greatest of all time forever. Well, of course he was the greatest of all time, but like you were saying, that's part of an era. There's eras to MMA. He's not here anymore. That's not this isn't the same Anderson. You can't just say someone's the greatest of all time and weigh them
forever
over people in the modern times that have completely different styles, completely different fundamentals. I mean, it's apples and oranges at the end of the day. And I love the discussions of the GOAT talks because it brings so many aspects of MMA together, and it really makes the sport shine. But I hate when people get so caught up on one fighter from 90 years ago that had a great record in outdated mixed martial arts.
Yeah, it's stupid to get really. It's fun,
but yeah, I hate
discussion, but it's stupid to get hung up on it. Especially, I think it's kind of dumb how angry people get in terms of the PED stuff. So people will nullify John Jones and Anderson's claims to GOAT status simply based on the PED stuff. And I understand. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the disdain for it, especially someone like John, who is just time and time again just seems to fuck up, right?
It's it's a pattern. It's a complete pattern.
It's a pattern. But here's the thing about PEDs. Everyone on them. Everyone on them, guys. Everyone on them. Nick Diaz was never more correct. Okay? Nick Diaz spouted the most truths that anyone has ever spouted when he's like, everybody use steroids.
Yeah. You're right.
Dude, you have to remember Anderson. And today, it's a little different. Do I think Anderson went into his fight tonight with Uriah Hall juiced up? No, I don't. But Here's the thing. Anderson fought in Pride FC. You go find me a fighter from Pride FC that was totally clean. Spoiler alert, they don't exist, okay? Now,
right.
Of course there's not like concrete proof of this. I can't go back and pick up fucking Fedor's pee samples and test them to see if he was dirty or not, or any. But guys, this was 1990s Japanese dog fights.
It's a little different.
They were all using.
Yeah.
They were all using, and even today, a lot of them are still. It's just a reality of it. I mean, I understand the hesitation to claiming GOAT status when a person has been a proven, I hate to use the word, but cheater, right? That's the word that often gets.
It's the reality, yeah.
That gets thrown around is cheater. People call John Jones a cheater. But it comes with the territory, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And people like to look at other sports too and be like, they're not juicing over here. Yeah, well, they're not throwing head kicks at each other's heads either. So
right.
It's different, it's different. And do I think it's as egregious as it once was, like TRT Vitor?
TRT Vitor.
No,
that was Halloween in the physical form, right? That was horrifying. You got into a cage with TRT Vitor, you're not leaving there without some serious medical problems. Holy fuck. But go on.
Do I think it's like that anymore? No. But do I think everyone is clean? No, not.
There's always a way to get around something.
For a second. Why? Because Big Jeff Nowitzki and USADA exist? Get the fuck out of here. They don't. These guys give a shit when it suits them. And when it all comes out in the wash. The UFC finds a way to work around it. Take John Jones's most recent incident, for example, when was it the second Gustafsson fight? Yeah, it was the second Gustafsson fight. They shifted fucking states to get this guy to fight because NSAC flagged him and was like, no, you can't compete here, you juice head. And they went over to, I think it was Nevada that said no.
Yes.
And then they went over to California and they said, fuck the Swedish fans, get refunds on your hotels, I guess. Tell Vegas to give you your money back. They won't, but try anyway. And then they went over to, I think it was California, and they had that fight. I mean, this is just a reality of the sport that we are fans of. It's a reality in the WWE. I'm sure it's a reality in Bellator.
Oh, Bellator doesn't even have safeguards. They just anything goes.
Well, they do. Bellator. They do. Bellator does have drug testing. Whether or not it's good.
Are you sure about that?
They do. It does exist.
Yeah.
It does exist. Even though Conor McGregor said it doesn't.
But Conor said that they didn't have drug testing. And then
Conor's wrong. Do you want to say it's shitty? I won't argue with you.
But it's there, yeah.
It's there. It exists. So yeah, I guess my ultimate point with this whole PED tangent is I don't think it removes you from the GOAT debate if you have PED usage, especially when you fought in the era that Anderson did.
When everybody was on that shit.
Anderson would not have fucking survived if we wouldn't be talking about him today if he was entirely clean during his Pride days. We wouldn't be talking about him. And I don't want to say PEDs don't help. I don't know the whole science behind them, if I'm being entirely honest. But you can't tell me when he masterfully knocks out Forrest Griffin or when he masterfully knocks out Vitor Belfort that's all because of steroids. There's no way, dude. There's no way. I'm sorry, but that's just God-given skill right there. That is years of mastering your art form. I refuse to believe you could chalk all of that up to steroids. Same with John Jones's career. I don't think you could chalk all that up to PEDs. I really don't. Maybe one of the DC fights, the one that got ruled in no contest, okay. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe that these guys who are so incredibly skilled and talented, it's all because of drugs. I don't believe that.
It certainly helps, but it's not the full picture, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chael Sonnen mauled Anderson Silva for 5 rounds on PEDs. So, I mean, it definitely helps, but, there's no real study behind it. What?
I got real sad every time they showed that tonight.
Dude, I know. It's such a shame. I know it didn't count in the end
so much, dude.
But I still would have liked him to pull that victory off, even if it did become a no contest.
Dude, I love Chael so much.
He is the GOAT in MMA news and commentary.
He's one of my top 10 all time.
Oh yeah.
I love him.
He had some damn good victories when he was in. Whether or not he was clean, I mean, like you were saying, nobody was really clean back then. I mean, there's always ways to get around shit, and certainly when USADA's not there. So
the same way I don't think people like Israel Adesanya would exist without Anderson Silva, or at least they would have come much later than they did. I don't think people like Conor and Colby and some of these other great trash talkers would exist if not for Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, he changed the game.
He's a pioneer
as well. He absolutely was a pioneer. Not only did he help pioneer that Olympic style All-American wrestling, but he changed in the game in terms of self-marketing. I believe the same way I think Anderson Silva brought the highlight KO into mainstream consciousness, at least in the United States. I think Chael Sonnen helped bring over some of those pro wrestling-esque character uh, marketing tactics and those fight promotion tactics into mixed martial arts. That kind of thing has existed for a long time, especially in the WWE, or it was probably WCW or WWF at the time. But I think Chael helped to really bring it over into the real thing. Like everyone watches wrestling and in the back of their head knows it's quote unquote fake. To the extent in which you think it's fake, I mean that's up for you to determine. But everyone knows that MMA, it's like wrestling, but it's real and they actually hit each other, right? And I think Chael helped kind of merge those two worlds together, where you have the fight build up promotion style from pro wrestling and then the actual, they're actually beating the shit out of each other stuff from mixed martial arts, and help meld them together, and really I think changed the way fight promotion works in the UFC. And he showed people that, like, if you really want to stand out in this sport, it's not enough to just be really dominant and really good. Leon Edwards is a perfect example of that. You need personality as well. And Colby Covington knew that. And that's why he has adopted the character he has. And guess what? It's worked.
Yeah, it
like,
works.
As much as people want to fucking hate Colby Covington, guess what, guys? What he's doing works. Okay? You could disagree with everything he says. I wouldn't blame you. And he's very obviously a mascot for, the right-wing extremist types. But you buy into it every time. All you journalists that criticize him, all you fans that hate on him, you buy into it every single time he does it. So obviously he's doing something right. And I think Chael really helped to bring that into the sport.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to really get the fan base behind you, what better way to do it than to give them a character and someone to embody yourself in? It's just
and play the heel.
It's simple math. Yeah, it just works.
Floyd did it too in boxing.
Oh man. It's something that's never going to go away, and I think we're going to see some real fun characters in our lifetime in MMA, because it's only going to grow exponentially at this point. Once people understand, like, hey, this is a proven method to get money.
Sometimes it backfires.
Oh yeah, like Alexander Hernandez.
Yes, that's you, dude. You took the words right out of my mouth. It must have been why you were kissing me.
Back to what did he say? Sit your geriatric gas, yeehaw, back to the stables or something like that.
It's actually a fucking great line, to be honest. Send your geriatric ass back to the back to the stable, or whatever.
I guess we should mention him really quick.
Yeah, because he
looked phenomenal tonight.
He looked awesome, and has developed an entirely new attitude.
Yeah.
An entirely new persona. Whether it's genuine or not, who knows? Maybe this is the genuine Alexander Hernandez. Maybe that was the genuine Alexander Hernandez. Either way, he's turned a corner, both in his personality, and in his fighting ability. He looked awesome tonight, dude. Yeah, he got a sick KO.
He did real well.
He got sick. Let me look and see who the performance of the night bonuses went to, because I wouldn't be surprised if he got one.
He was making the 50 G's baby symbol to Dana. I mean, I wouldn't say you shouldn't get one, but I mean, he had one of the better performances tonight.
Okay, so I have some news here. I don't have an answer for you as to who got the fucking bonuses, but whatever. This might be more important. So I went on Ariel Helwani's Twitter, because he always posts about the performance of the night bonuses. And according to Dana White, I'm assuming this is from the post-fight press conference, which is probably going on as we speak, Khabib Nurmagomedov is still the 155 champ per Dana White. He says he is pretty sure he will come back for number 30. And then, which, okay, that's not shocking news to us, right? We kind of alluded to that at the start of this. Here's something that's a little shocking. And a lot of shocking, actually, not a little. Israel Adesanya's next fight will be for the light heavyweight title against champion Jan Blachowicz, per Dana White at the post-fight press conference. Whoa.
Excuse me, sir? That is absolutely huge, I might say. Oh my God.
Whoa.
So that is a whole nother can of worms here. Israel Adesanya light heavyweight. This is something that I've been thinking should have been going on for quite some time. I mean, the dude is completely dominant at light or middleweight. Let's just be honest. I mean, who's going to beat Israel? Maybe Robert Whittaker, probably not. The sensible option here is to move up to light heavyweight, where people have said he should have already been fighting to begin with because of the weight cutting and all that. You know how that argument goes. But wow, seeing him go up to new competition that's actually possibly competitive, that's really fun. I like that a lot. I know he was talking about it for quite some time, but to see him actually do it and make the move, damn.
Well, the thing that was always interesting about it was he and John Jones do not like each other. And there was a lot of heat between them, and still is, starting back when John was still light heavyweight champ. And the question always was when is Israel going to move up to fight John Jones? Because that's the dream fight, right? Both guys just seemingly GOAT material, if not already. So, when are they going to fight? There's a demand for it. There's heat behind it. But then John Jones moves up to heavyweight, and or I guess is going to, because he technically hasn't yet. And then that seemingly takes the wind out of the sails of that fight prospect with Israel. We still think maybe it'll happen down the road, but for right now, the guys are worlds apart. You have Izzy defending his middleweight title, and then you have John going up to heavyweight for God knows what. Maybe Francis, maybe Stipe, maybe who knows. But the Jan Blachowicz fight, I mean, that's interesting. I did hear a little bit about this, like a few days ago, the two of them kind of going back and forth a little bit. But I didn't think it was going to happen.
That's something you always hear about, but it's rare that you see it actually happen like that. Yeah, that is, it's going to be exciting. I do like that.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think he beats Jan?
I do. But
do you?
But let me get this but right out of the way here. Jan can 100% pressure him to a point where he's real uncomfortable and possibly do some serious damage. But it's tough to say how he fights at 205, because you see someone like OSP fight at middleweight, and you say, wow, this dude's a goddamn contender. Or no, he fought at light heavyweight, and you say, this guy's a goddamn contender. I mean, he fought John Jones, lasted quite a bit. Obviously, he didn't win that fight, but and then he goes to heavyweight, and he looks terrible.
Right.
I mean, maybe not terrible, just not as good. So you never know how it's really going to work. Will Israel have that same zing that he has in his punches at 205? Maybe. Maybe not. If not, I mean, he's in for a real bad time with someone who like Jan, who hits like a goddamn Polish bulldozer. Jesus Christ. You know, I heard an article that what's his guy? I can't remember his goddamn name. Dominic Reyes is still knocked out from that punch. He's still in the octagon, unconscious. It's insane.
Would have been a better joke had you remembered his name.
Yeah, dude, 100%. It's so funny how you forget some of the most important people's names in the sport. There's so many people. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, he didn't exactly look the best in his last fight.
There's a lot of people in the sport. You are right. Yeah, which is weird because he gave John Jones probably the toughest fight of his career, but then Jan just ran through him.
I think Thiago beats everybody.
All this Modelo's coming back up on me.
Dude, yeah, that's what was happening to me. That's the spike I was talking about. I honestly think Thiago beats everybody at light heavyweight if he's healthy. Are you
serious?
Yeah.
Do you actually think that?
I really do. After seeing the monstrosity that he put on to John with one leg, I know one of his legs had every single muscle and ligament torn in it.
Yeah.
That dude was fucked up. But, imagine a healthy Thiago actually fighting at 100%. That's a real spooky. That's something you'd put at October 31st in the Spooktober UFC
That's
card.
Tonight, bro. October 31st.
He's fighting next week. It's crazy.
Yeah, Glover, right?
If Glover beats Thiago, I will literally. What should I do? Should I get a tattoo or something?
Shave your head.
I will fucking shave my beard.
I won't go as far as that.
Shit, you're right. That's not
that impressive. Like, I shave my beard all the time.
I will cut my hair marginally. I'll do something. I'll think about it if Glover wins. We'll discuss it at a later date. Don't worry.
Highly doubt you're going to do anything.
Well, I don't want
Also,
to
I
do
think it's...
something real crazy, like shave my head, but
Then why'd you even say anything?
because
Nobody brought this up.
I thought you brought. I thought you. I didn't know you'd go that far, man. You went to 0 to 100. I thought you'd go to 0 to 75. That's what I'm looking for. A nice 75.
You're saying this all as if Glover has no chance. Did
don't
you see
think,
his last few
fights,
dude?
I do not think Glover will beat Thiago in any multiverse that exists.
Oh my god!
As good as Glover is, I think Thiago is an absolute monster, and I think he'll make quick work of Glover.
Those Trulies are scrambling your brains, son.
Let me tell you something about the Glover Teixeira. He's 75 years old.
He's not even his name.
He's a textile employee. All right, he's 75 years old. He's on his way out.
Did you see the way he brutalized Anthony Smith?
Yeah,
in fact, that was like our
Anthony
first
Smith
podcast.
also gassed himself to death.
That's true. That's true.
Anthony Smith killed himself in that fight. Let's just.
There is a fair point.
Right, I shouldn't take that away from Glover,
round.
But he didn't exactly help himself in that fight. Glover definitely did the veteran thing, and he did a phenomenal job on the situation at hand. But I don't know if you would call that 100% Glover's victory, because I honestly think it was a self-sabotage. Dude, Anthony Smith just murdered himself.
You're terrible. Poor Glover.
Dude, no,
I think he's got a good shot.
I do hope Glover comes back and does something, because I love Glover. He's a really good dude. I hang out with him on every other Monday, but that's not the point. I do think Thiago is going to steamroll him. And if I'm wrong, I'll like eat fruit or something. I don't fucking know. I'll do something, and it's going to be crazy.
Fruit. Wow, impressive.
That's a placeholder, okay? We'll dub it in. Don't worry.
We'll dub it in.
Yeah, we'll dub it in. You'll think of something. I'll delete Payday 2 off of my computer. Oh, that's even worse than shaving my head.
True, you're right.
All right.
It's terrible.
Enough about Payday, Kyle. Get with the program, okay?
All right. I'm sorry.
God damn it. Unprofessional.
You're right. I'm unprofessional.
Unprofessional. We spent 50 minutes talking about this motherfucker, Anderson Silva.
This motherfucker, one of the greatest to ever do it. Those Trulies,
we haven't even talked about the greatest fighter out of Team Alpha Male, Andre Fili. The Kingpin.
Dude, he looked good. He gave Bryce Mitchell a tough fight.
He did look good. Bryce Mitchell's kind of he's another one of those specimens I like to talk about. He's got a really good, I don't know what you'd call it. He's got a really good skill set that's going to defeat a lot of people. Everybody? No, but a majority of people, yeah. He's got that offensive wrestling that Khabib has. He's got that Dagestani style. He even wraps the legs. I remember you were talking about that in an earlier podcast about him.
Mm-hmm.
He does everything right. Now, obviously, that's not going to work against everybody. You know, Team Alpha Male people, as much EPO as they use, they're not the strongest bunch.
I was surprised how little he was fighting for submissions. Now, that could be just solely due to the fact that Andre Fili was defensively doing very well tonight. I mean, he didn't get finished. Like, defensively, he was doing well. The problem was he had no offense. That's why he ultimately lost the fight. But I was surprised that Bryce was not attacking submissions the way we've seen him do in the past. I mean, this is a dude that is trying to pull off twisters and all this crazy shit all the time. And on this, he seemed more content to just grind out Andre for the full duration of the fight. There's another important point I want to bring up about this fight, okay?
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm about to fucking...
I got my ears on.
Flame Reebok, son, okay?
Oh, shit.
So they made him those camo shorts, which they looked okay. They looked fine, but they laid red text over for his last name, for Mitchell, on the shorts. They put red text over the camo, which looks like shit. First of all, I mean, basic design principles. Come on now, guys. The camo looked okay. Then I think Brendan Fitzgerald gave us a little factoid that was Bryce Mitchell is the second fighter to ever get a custom pair of shorts since the Reebok deal happened back in whenever the fuck. I think it was like 2015 or whatever, 13, I don't know.
Some year.
The only other person to get custom shorts from Reebok was Conor McGregor. And you want to know what they did for him? They made him green.
Wow.
They gave him green championship shorts. Because you know how the championship shorts are always black with the gold text, the gold name on the shorts?
Yes.
Well, they made Conor's green, and they had the text gold for when he was champ. I think it was when he was what the fuck was it? Lightweight champ. Dude, that's pathetic. That is pathetic.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have even said that on the broadcast.
Yeah, that was kind of a...
That is so embarrassing. Reebok, you guys suck so fucking hard. Why is Bryce Mitchell the second person next to Conor McGregor to get custom shorts? Is it really that hard? Like, I'm not saying I need every single fighter out there. Like, I don't need Greg Hardy having custom shorts. Like, that's fine. He could wear the standard
custom
whatever.
wife beater shirts. Or shorts.
That's terrible. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. But what the fuck was I even saying? It's stupid. All right, Reebok sucks. Like,
they're not the most creative bunch in the world. They don't really let people do things with creative freedom.
It's so lame.
It's orderly, it's textbook, and it's boring.
And even when they gave Bryce Mitchell the camo trunks, they didn't even bother to change the fucking text so it didn't look like red shit all over the camo. Like, they should have put like a black bar on the trunks and had like white text over it or something so it was readable. You can't read text on camo, especially when the text is colored red.
What if they made the text camouflaged?
Dude, they suck
that would be
so hard.
Good.
And then they say, "Oh, and they made custom trunks for Conor." Like, it's a big deal. They gave him green fucking trunks. I would hope they made custom trunks for Conor McGregor. He's the biggest goddamn star in the sport, and he was a champion at the time. And oh, congrats, you made his trunks green because he's Irish. Wow, congratulations, Reebok. You guys are so wildly creative. I never could have come up with that. I never could have come up with giving Conor McGregor green trunks to match his Irish fucking nationality. Wow, that's super impressive, guys. You're doing great work out here.
I think Reebok appreciates the credit. It cost them $3 million to print that green pair of shorts.
I can't wait until they leave and we never have to deal with them in the sport again. I hope Venom creates some nice shit for our fighters to wear. Okay? Like, there are fighters out there. A lot of these guys deserve better looking trunks. I'm not saying the trunks as they are look bad per se, although Bryce Mitchell's kind of look bad. They're boring. They're very boring. And guess what? Not every fighter is equal. They should not all look the same, okay? Israel Adesanya should look like Israel Adesanya when he comes out. And like, his trunks should be an extension of him. He should look like fucking Lomachenko looked when he came out to fight Teofimo Lopez last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever it was. They just, oh God, I hate them, man. They lack imagination.
They don't improve the sport much. They make it orderly, but they don't improve upon it at all. And it's extremely just anticlimactic. You know, there's so much potential, like you saw with Venom in that boxing fight. I forget all of their names. Lomachenko, I think, versus Lopez.
Lomachenko.
I don't know. I'm not a big boxing fan. I did watch the fight though. That was a very good fight. Anyway, yeah. I just don't think they do much for the sport. I think someone like Venom could at least spice it up even a little bit, and that little bit goes a long way when we're used to this horrible. All right, maybe not horrible, but we're used to this extremely orderly pattern that we've been seeing for the last how many goddamn years.
Boring.
Yeah, it's nice to see anything. Even horrible shorts that are camouflaged. But you know what? Maybe they'll just make this a regular thing. I don't know. I like to think that when they got this email from Dana, he's like, hey, this fighter, Bryce Mitchell, wants camo shorts. They all just had like a meeting, a company-wide meeting. They were like, I've never seen anything like this before. We don't know what to do. They called the crisis button. Hell, the alarm started going off.
He had to like plead for it.
Yeah,
too.
he said he called like 5 times to every time you want to fight, he like messaged them or something. I don't know.
The poor guy, all he wanted was some fucking camo on his trunks, and they were like, "I don't know if I can handle that, sir."
Our printing presses aren't this advanced. Dude, he looked good though. I like his style a lot, and I think he's gonna go places.
He's very fun to watch.
Same for Andre Fili. I mean, that dude, that's just a bad matchup for him. Let's just be honest. Andre Fili would fuck up most people. Maybe not most ranked people, but he's on the path to do that. And I can respect him. Even if he is Team Alpha Male.
I just watched a video of Michael Bisping getting scared by a scarecrow last Halloween. It was really good. Yeah, I mean, listen, even though the camo kind of looked like shit, I'm glad they did something. But Jesus, why did the guy have to fight so hard just to get some camo trunks? It's so shit. God, Reebok, you suck. Did you watch Kevin Holland's fight?
Yeah,
dude, that was spooky. That was spooky.
That was the spookiest fight of the night, I would say.
That was genuinely.
I had to turn the television off. Oh.
Why did Bisping and Brendan Fitzgerald just
they immediately
not understand what was happening?
I don't know.
They were like, "Did he choke him out?
He's dead."
Or it's like, dude, it was pretty obvious what happened. Especially like, okay, maybe you couldn't hear him initially saying "my neck," but you could definitely hear it on the replay. But what you could hear right away was Mark Smith saying, "Don't move, don't move." What do you think that is? What the fuck do you think that is? It's obviously a neck injury. And we haven't really heard any updates on that guy. All we heard was
he's probably dead.
He's
wait. Gone.
Oh no, he's good. He's good.
Don't listen to this guy. He's gone. Spooktober got the best of him. He's wasted.
He's good.
Tomorrow he'll be okay though because it's November. But you know.
I just went on Twitter and Israel Adesanya posted a picture with him and said, "Takes fight on 3 days' notice. Moves up to middleweight. I'm glad he's well and okay. Charlie Ontiveros, lads."
He was actually doing very well. The 2 strikes that he threw.
Jesus,
but he landed both of them. I mean, Kevin Holland went into this. First he gets spinning back-fisted to hell. And then he gets axe kicked in the head. And he's like, all right, you know what? I'm done with this. And then he took him down. And obviously he got... And Kevin Holland's takedowns, they're not just takedowns, they're slams. I mean, he got injured for a reason.
Some nice judo there.
God damn, he does some damage when he takes his opponents down. And
I'm happy he's good though. That was pretty scary, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
the way his arm wasn't moving was freaking me out. It looked like his left side was paralyzed. Yeah, it was freaking me out. Yeah.
It seems like it was just like a temporary, you know, his probably got his nerve got hit or I don't know, but it seems like he's okay now, so that's good.
Yeah.
How about Kevin Holland like trying to call out Izzy? Oh, kind of cringe, bro. Kind of cringe.
I guess they have a bad history.
Yeah, I mean that's fine and all, but like. Dude.
He's like, yeah, Israel's trying to be nice to me in the lobby. like, damn, he was trying to be respectful. Damn.
How dare he?
How dare he try to quench old
listen, I like Kevin Holland. I think he's a nice addition to the roster because he's got great personality, he's got great energy about him, and he's winning a lot. So that's always good. But come on, man. You and Izzy, worlds apart, galaxies apart. It's not even a discussion right now. Not even a discussion. I thought that was a little I didn't like the way he acted after the fight because it's obvious your opponent has a pretty serious injury. And you're acting like you just got some crazy awesome KO against like a top 5 guy, and you're like, I want the champ next. And no, dude, no.
I mean, it definitely sets up some good shit in the future if he continues on how he's
distant future.
The distant future, yes. The very important fact is that it's a distant future.
Right.
I mean, I definitely think in the future he has that potential to grow to be someone who could for sure be a contender for that middleweight belt. But it's way too early to say. I mean, he's beating some good people. He had 4 fights, won in the whole year, I think, in 2020. That's pretty impressive, but like he was saying, he's like, yeah, I've been fighting a lot of cans, and people are making fun of me for fighting all the cans. I just want someone with a name. I mean, dude, I respect the fact that he just goes in for injured fighters. Like, that's great. Like, you fill in. That's wonderful. But, yeah,
okay,
he's got
I see what you're saying. I thought you meant, like, attack people who were injured. But no, yeah, he's cool with being short notice. You're right.
Just attack if you even look like you have an injury. Kevin Holland's just knocking at your door ready to give you a beatdown.
You're right. That is good. Your boy Greg Hardy got another TKO tonight against Maureece Green. Dude, Maureece Green
and puffing. They both were huffing.
Dude, his fucking inhaler, dude.
Oh my God.
Dude, Maureece Green's not good.
I mean, he had 4 victories in the octagon, and he was on a 4-fight win streak, I think, maybe. I don't know if that's true. But he's definitely, besides Volkan, the best competition Greg Hardy's faced. So, I mean, you know, it's great. Greg Hardy, he's taking baby steps. He's getting up there. Maybe eventually he'll fight someone who, like, you know, actually, you know, poses a threat. But you know, Maureece Green, you're a good guy. Let me tell you. But he's gonna have to let you go. All right, the organization is just not. Spooktober will see you out. No, Maureece Green, he's good for who he is, right? Unranked fighter. Prospect. He has 4 wins in his last 4 fights, I think. I'm like 80% sure.
That's Greg Hardy goes not in. True. He lost tonight. What are you talking about?
I meant before his loss. Okay. The almighty Greg Hardy with his wife beater custom shorts.
He lost to Alexei Olenek, like a fight.
Yeah, but everybody loses to him. That doesn't even count. Alexei Olenek fought everybody since the Earth was like created.
He beat Jean Vellante, obese Jean Vellante.
Oh, I didn't expect him to fact check me. Oh no. Oh no.
He beat an obese Jean Vellante and then got submitted prior to that got submitted by Alexei Olenek.
Oh, the commentators really hyped me up on him, damn it. They've bamboozled me for Spooktober.
I mean, he's fine.
He's a TV actor? What? Maureece Green, it says TV actor under.
I guess technically they're all TV actors, right? They're all on TV. Oh wait, holy shit! Hold on, you're right. On Wikipedia, he's labeled as TV actor.
Maureece, my boy.
What the fuck? Oh wait, because he was on Ultimate Fighter.
Maybe.
I mean,
it says you were using Star Wars.
That can't be true. That can't be true.
That's not true.
Unless he was like a fucking like stormtrooper or something.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's not doing well. He's 2-2 in his last 4, so definitely not as good as I was saying.
Bro, you keep going all over the place with his record.
The commentators were making it sound like he was 4-4 in his last fights. They were really hyping him up, but obviously this was a hype job.
Wait, 4-4? That would mean...
Or 4-0, I'm sorry.
Holy shit.
Bro, the blueberry acai is too much for me.
Stop. We need to stop this. Is there anyone else you want to shout out or praise for their
Peter Yan, you looked good tonight, buddy.
He definitely didn't fight tonight.
You defended your middleweight strap.
Jesus Christ. This is such a shit show. This is the worst one we've ever done.
Okay,
without a doubt.
Bobby Green had a great fight against Thiago.
He fucking lost. He lost. I was disappointed about that too because I really like Bobby Green.
That was a really close fight though. Let's be honest.
It was close. Yeah, it was close. Did you agree with the decision? I saw a lot of people saying it was a robbery. I didn't think it was a
robbery. I think it could have gone either way.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, I thought
voice
it was
crack
a decision.
included in that. You know
what?
Thank you everybody.
Wait, there's 2 more things I want to mention. 2 more things that stuck out to me. I just need to look them up. No, the prelims.
Of course.
I thought
those do exist, yes.
We already briefly talked about it, but Hernandez looked great.
Matt Strickland looked good. fought Jack Marshman. Marshman. Imagine having that as a last name.
It's not Matt.
Oh.
It's Sean.
Sean Strickland, right. My bad.
Motherfucker. Adrian Yanez, I thought looked terrific.
That was really impressive, yeah.
Another contender guy coming off. Contender. that was a sentence. Jason Witt had a really dominant wrestling performance over Cole Williams. Dude, Dustin Jacoby, they need to start matching this guy with like better fighters because he has a pretty I shouldn't say decorated, a pretty substantial kickboxing background. His MMA background, a little touch and go. He was with the UFC previously and he got let go. Then he goes over to Glory, does very well in Glory. Then he comes back on Contender, absolutely annihilates the guy he was put up against on Contender, and then comes out tonight for his like re-debut and just puts it on Justin Ledet. I don't know how you say his name, but anyway.
I mean, no
Dustin
one will
Jacoby,
ever be saying his name again. So.
Jesus Christ. Dustin Jacoby, nonetheless, looked terrific. They need to start matching him with higher level talent because while his MMA career is not, it's not necessarily up to snuff.
Snuff?
Yeah, that's an expression. That's an expression.
Sentence?
That's totally an expression. It means like, it's not extraordinary. It's not up to par.
Isn't snuff? Doesn't that mean like kill? Oh my God, that is a phrase.
Yeah.
What? You Philly boys are too much for me. Yeah,
Philly boys.
I thought the Modelos were taking their toll on you.
No, that's a real thing.
Not easily deceived. Ooh, an up to stuff old vagabond is the example they gave me. All right.
Dustin Jacoby looked good. Thank you for interrupting that fucking point a million times. Then finally, the very first fight of the night. Ooh boy, did you watch that?
I did not.
Okay, Miles Johns gets a KO, but he's very clearly has his fingers inside the glove
I did
of his
see
opponent.
that. Yeah, that was a little bit much.
That was bad. The ref, I forget who the ref was. I want to say it was Keith Peterson, was like on the opposite side, and it wasn't really in his view. But yeah, that was some dirty shit. I'm interested to see how that's gonna pan out. That might get overturned. I don't know. Oh, speaking of shit changing with the commission, how about that new thing they got with the other official that sits outside the octagon and is able to use instant replay and stop the fight whenever he wishes? That's interesting.
That is an advancement that needs to happen. I'm glad they're actually doing that. That's a good aspect to have on your side.
NSAC, look at you guys actually doing shit. That's different. That's a great idea. We'll see how it plays out. It didn't really come into play at all tonight, but it seems like what they're doing is they have all these lights around the octagon, around like the floor, like strip lights, and basically what the person sitting, the other official, is able to watch on a monitor and use replay and all that, and is able to stop the fight whenever they wish and consult the referee, but ultimately the referee is the one that has the referee inside the cage is the one that has the final say and is allowed to, is the one that makes, the final decision.
Big boy decisions, right?
But that's great. Like, why the fuck haven't we been doing that? That's a terrific idea.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one last thing I wanted to mention. Oh, Ultimate Fighter coming back.
Hey, yes, of course. No fight or no coaches announced yet, I don't think. Correct?
Predictions on coaches. That's really all I want to talk about it.
There's so many good options for that. That's really difficult. I honestly think someone like Israel and Robert Whittaker would be fun. Mm-hmm. I do like that a lot.
Here's the thing, that was my initial thought as well, Israel and Robert Whittaker, and I think the internet was sharing this similar sentiment. But now if you have Izzy moving up to light heavyweight, that doesn't work as well. But I guess it could still work. I don't know. We're going to have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
But
Kamaru and Colby would be a fantastic option.
Oh, God.
Because that was a competitive fight.
So apparently it's going to be middleweights and bantamweights this season. Are you okay?
My brain is short-circuiting on the bantamweight part.
Oh yeah, I have. What about
Aljamain would be very fun because then you got the
I was
crew
thinking
of my boy and our boy
Ray Longo and Ally Quinton, all
the
those
gang.
guys.
That would make for some fan. You were saying they should have their own TV show, and I think so. But
Joe Rogan is actually the one that's been saying that, but I just echoed it because I wholeheartedly agree. But Joe Rogan is the one that has been saying for a long time that those guys should have their own reality TV show. But Matt Serra, Jesus, Matt Serra's so funny.
Though.
Yeah, dude, Peter Yan has no personality, and I mean, no, that's mean of me to say, but
he doesn't show it on camera. He's not a camera guy.
It's partially due to the language barrier. I mean, that's just a matter.
I heard he parties hard in Russia, but just not in America.
Bantamweight would be interesting, though. I think your two best personalities at bantamweight are Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
They would make for some interesting coaches.
I think Sean O'Malley is miles behind Aljamain, but I do think that would be fun.
Yeah, that could be good. We're thinking about personalities. Let's not forget that fucking Vanderlei was a coach once. Like, obviously, personality does not matter.
Chael is two personalities.
Yeah, Chael
can cover for that.
Chael could be on 5 seasons of Ultimate Fighter, and it would always be interesting. I'm excited though, dude. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. They're going to release it weekly. In addition to, we have some more Contender coming up.
Ooh, this week, correct?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's going to be fun. A lot of good ESPN Plus content coming out. I promise, I'm not sponsored by ESPN Plus. I'm not sponsored by Modelo. These are just 2 things I very much enjoy that happen to be, affiliated with the UFC, which is an organization
soon.
I admire.
We will sell out Modelo very, very soon.
I will gladly.
We're going to be in their commercials. Caffeinated Combat had a choice.
We're intoxicated now. Caffeinated Combat had the choice to be Intoxicated Combat, and they ran with it. And they put out one of the worst episodes they've put out to date.
This is the best. We not only made fun of professional fighters like we usually do, but we did it in an even more ridiculous fashion. It
more disrespectful.
A much more disrespectful fashion. And that's what the people want.
Make sure you cut out that part where that my buddy came in my room.
I'm going to add that in. I'm going to create an animation and highlight the exact moments and emotions that were felt during that moment. It's going to be wonderful.
That would actually be very funny.
I'm going to recreate it with Joey, actually, a live action film.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If you don't know, Joey is our producer here at the studio.
Yeah, he produces something.
He's the local homeless man that moved in quite some time ago.
Wow, dude! So this is like official about Izzy and Blachowicz. Like,
that's really exciting.
Happening.
That's the most exciting news I've heard all week.
That's a thing that is happening. Also, news on performance of the night. So Kevin Holland, okay. Alexander Hernandez, we predicted that. Adrian Yanez, good. And Miles Johns. Uh-oh. Cue the Kill Bill siren.
Miles. You fucked up, Miles. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Not great. Also, Uriah Hall not getting anything? I don't know about that one, kids. I don't know about
Uriah
that
Hall did something masterfully against a master, and I think that deserves some kind of bonus, but I don't know what kind of bonus that deserves.
Beat Anderson Silva.
That should be a bonus in itself, like a beat the former GOAT. But I don't know.
I mean, that's a monumental achievement, regardless of where Anderson is at in his career right now. He's still Anderson Silva. It doesn't matter. He'd still beat the shit out of like any other human being on the planet that's not like a top 3. I shouldn't say top 3. A top UFC contender.
No, I agree completely. So yeah, some exciting news, some exciting events.
I want to go to bed.
I know, me too. Some fun shit going on MMA. Family-friendly channel, no cursing. Fuck yeah. All right, so this has been Intoxicated Combat, where we spam the alcohols, and bullshit
I
MMA.
I never want to do this again.
This is a wonderful time.
This was a one-off. The only reason we did this was because of the card time, the start time.
It
started
worked
at
out
7,
for us. We're on the
where
East
at.
Coast. If you want to
Yeah.
DDoS us, if you want to just DDoS the whole East Coast. But yeah, that's all. We're gonna go to bed now.
Yeah, I got pissed really bad.
Me too, brother. I'll be seeing you.